Hello and good evening. I mess around with more of our fun stuff. Crafty stuff. Because I'm just kind of vibing with that more than other things lately. But, that's how it works. Let's get our keyboard out of the way.
I'll key your board in a minute.
I swear, no matter what I do, there's always more dust.
For a second, I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, I swear, no matter what I say, you'll always have some I'll blank you in a minute comeback."
You always do that, T, so that's not really a surprise to anybody, is it?
Dude, you're like obsessed with that.
Oh, not as obsessed as you are with everything in life.
T-Foxer does something more than once. Lorgans. So you have chosen obsessed.
Yes. I think I managed to clean these guys up better than I did with with the last box of them I had. So we're gonna go ahead and arrange our shit here. Have all of our dudes in one bowl. This plastic has just the right mix of malleable and durable. Or should I say hardness and flexibility for durability, doesn't it?
Yeah, I really like GW's plastic quality. Having gotten Privateer Press miniatures, their plastic is not that great.
I think you said it was akin to a sharp at one point.
It's like the plastic version of Finecast.
Plastic fine cast! Oh, that's how you trigger somebody. You say, fine cast.
It's really, really hard to sand and to cut. And the result is that your knife can slip really easily, and I feel very uncomfortable working with it because I feel like my knife is going to slip and jam into my finger near to the bone because I've had that happen before.
Alright, so I think we're going to have it resting on the butt like this. That should do. This guy has an empty holster. Huh? Give him a knife one. I don't think I've got any guys that are actually wielding a knife, though. Or I could just have the knife dropped on the ground next to him. That would be cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Alright, so we got where we want to put it. Just an idea of it. Time for some thick.
Did you just say it's time for some?
Yes, I did. Are you ashamed of me, Foxer?
It sounded like a little bit like you're about to throw up.
Thick.
I'm not looking forward to this weekend.
Gonna be another one of those weekends. Is it gonna be too hot?
33 degrees Celsius.
It's gonna be hot.
It was 100 degrees outside earlier. Fahrenheit. For you Americans. Yeah, damn near 40. But that was in indirect sunlight, so that wasn't in complete shade. My house got up to 30 degrees, though.
That should be enough contact to have the piece stick rather securely.
It is currently 21 degrees and it's midnight.
I think I'm just gonna do all those fanny packs first, and then see which one, and then see about putting grenades on them too.
It's only going down to 18 degrees as well. Tomorrow's gonna get up to 33 degrees around 5 p.m.
I found that using that little sanding pad worked best on more organic-looking surfaces. Like, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't work on a wide-open space nearly as well.
Yeah. I just want it to not be boiling. That'd be great.
I found a bolt line!
I do have one thing to look forward to this weekend, though.
What's that? Butts?
I'm gonna be horrifying my mom.
How's that?
I'm gonna get her to watch Parasite.
How's that gonna... Oh, because it's a horror film?
No? I wouldn't say it's a horror film. I would say it horrified me, but I wouldn't call it a horror film.
What, by basically showing her socioeconomic disparity?
Yeah.
Like, show the poor people!
We've already watched, like, the first 2 acts of it. The family living in their little hovel, and then their plan to get the jobs from the rich family. And so from here, we've watched, the first act is kind of messed up. But the third and fourth, like, the third act and the climax are literally...
Stomach churning.
disturbing.
Alright, this guy's probably ready to set aside and dry.
I want to draw, but it's so hot. I never feel like... I'm not satisfied with my drawing when it's hot. I'll put it that way. If it's hot as balls, I just hate everything I draw. I've had to tell Crimson that unfortunately I'm not going to be able to resume working on his commission until the temperature comes down quite a bit. Because if it's in the high 20s, I just can't work.
I'm sure he understands.
Next Tuesday, I think it's going to be 24 degrees, so I might see if I can do it then, but we'll see. That's if it rains that day.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Mlem.
I wish I had air conditioning.
Air conditioning is mandatory here in the South.
I think it's mandatory here, but a lot of people don't have it because this area used to be a much colder area, so...
They go like, haha, you don't need air conditioning. We were wrong!
The premier of BC was asked how he felt about the death toll during the record-breaking heat wave, and his reply is that fatalities are part of life. And my response is no. They are end of life. They are inherently not part of the life. They are the thing that happens when the life is over.
Sounds like he's a douchebag.
He is a douchebag, and I don't like him. And I didn't vote for him.
There's a lot of these people that are currently around that aren't very responsive to the needs of the average person.
You see, last cycle, the NDP did a lot for people with disabilities.
And now they're trying to undo it all.
Yeah, this cycle. And it really sucks because basically the extra money that we were getting as basically compensation for the fact we didn't qualify for Serve, they stripped that all away, despite the fact that there was a lot of inflation during the pandemic, and disability already wasn't keeping up with inflation.
It's just like this spite against poor people, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, politicians don't like poor people in any country.
Well, that's because they can't bribe them.
I remember this one Onion video that says the 12 middle-class Americans in the United States pleased that Obama is looking out for them. It's playing off like a serious actual news segment about the 12 people who are actually middle class in the United States and how much they appreciated Obama being there for them.
That's a bit on the nose on them, but then again, that's the Onion for you. Here's the thing, all hell is broken loose when the Onion is right about something.
I mean, the Onion's frequently right, but that's because they tend to say things that are exaggerations. Like, they just tend to exaggerate stuff that's already, like, quite relatable or true.
It's basically the stuff you go like, thanks, I hate it.
It's like, oh god. It's so right, but please stop.
Pretty much.
Or, alternatively, you go full Commander Data. I hate this! This is awful! I hate this! Would you like more? Yes, please. Okay.
Data is one of the best characters.
Everyone talks about the best characters in Next Gen, and yes, Mr. Data is one of the best characters, but how come people don't point out that Guinan is one of the best characters?
Who's that?
It's the lady who runs the bar in 10 Forward. She's played by Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, I didn't know she actually was in Star Trek.
Oh my gosh, hon, we need to watch Trek together.
Oh my god, now you and Ember are both trying to get me to watch it. God damn it.
Like, we can start with Next Gen and just skip the overtly offensive episodes in Season 1. There's an episode entirely based around... You know the stereotype of the original series that there was always going to be some lady wearing, like, very tight clothing and there was always going to be a fight, like a fist fight in every episode?
No.
Like, that was a thing in a ton of episodes in the original series, and so Next Gen caught some flack that they weren't close enough to the original series.
Yeah.
So they produce an episode in which they go to a planet that is completely run by a patriarchy, and women there have no rights. And Tasha Yar gets in trouble, like the security officer, like head of security, and she gets forced into this like death battle where she's got to run around on basically a big jungle gym with swords and fight this other girl, and whoever wins has to marry the like leader of this planet. The problem is that they made the culture a stereotype of African kingdoms.
That's not very good.
And they made all of the people on the planet black. And
that's not good. That's a bad look.
The flack is that the entire episode is based around racial stereotypes of Africa. And
that's right.
I would say that it is probably the most tone-deaf episode of the Next Generation that they made. I genuinely skipped that episode because I feel it was really distasteful.
But the writers of Star Trek have often fucked up. I lost a piece.
Oh no.
It gone. It gone for good.
There were a lot of different kingdoms in Africa, and they had some very, very rich, beautiful cultures. I mean, there was a time when some of the richest people in the world were African kings, and they used to run around Rome spending their money flagrantly. Like, just showing off how affluent they were because of the gold that they had from their kingdoms.
And you know what? The Roman merchants probably loved it.
Like, there was a time when these kingdoms were beacons of art and prosperity and trade. And, you know, trying to reduce them down to this, like, haha, they bad, evil, unsophisticated. It's like, no. Yeah,
It is kind of cringe.
I don't like that episode at all. I always skip it. I generally don't like season 1 of Next Gen that much. I generally watch the pilot episodes and then just skip to season 2.
Yeah.
The series you might like, if you like lore, not the character lore, there is the character named Lore. But if you like lore in science fiction, you'd love Deep Space Nine, because it dives into a lot of the concepts that were set into Trek. They were like, Next Gen liked to basically scratch the surface of a lot of different concepts and then never really flesh them out. And then Deep Space Nine is the one that took all of these other plot threads and tied them together into a competent plot.
So basically it took a bunch of the spare things and then made off with it.
Yeah, the Cardassians come up a couple times in Next Generation, so do the Bajorans, but there's only like 3 episodes where it's really important, and those episodes are like Cardassians bad. Her, Cardassians bad. War bad. I will always criticize Trek for having the Planet of the Hats problem.
Planet of the Hats?
Yeah, that's a term for the trope where you'll have a culture that's known for one thing and only one thing. Like, oh, this is the planet where everybody wears the funny hats. In Star Trek The Next Generation, the Klingons were very much a Planet of the Hats race. These are the big, angry, mean people. And that's all they were. They were just big, angry, mean people for the main characters to get in fistfights with. And then Next Generation fleshed that out.
Yeah, the Klingons are actually one of the more interesting things later as they got fleshed out.
Definitely. And then the Cardassians were actually really well fleshed out in Deep Space Nine. They were brought in as this villain replacement for Romulans because, you know, they couldn't just have Romulans as the villain all the time, and they wanted to have some other, like, authoritarian, warlike race. So they bring in the Cardassians. And then by the end of Deep Space Nine, the Cardassians don't really feel so much like weird reptile people who are hyper-authoritarian, and more like an actual culture with real politics and differences in opinions and culture.
In other words, a legitimate species of some kind.
Yeah, and the plot was no longer Cardassians bad, Bajorans good. There were Bajoran villains. Despite the fact that, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it had kind of been written, you know, oh, the Cardassians invaded the planet Bajor, and the Bajorans are oppressed, and they're, you know, Cardassians bad, Bajorans good. Yeah, there were Bajoran villains, and there were there's a Cardassian main character who's actually one of the most interesting characters in all of Star Trek.
I still think it kind of sucks that they're all human-esque for the most part.
Do you know there's actually an explanation for that?
What was that?
Besides the fact that in the original series they couldn't really use CG or really, really advanced makeup techniques to make their actors look different. Like, that's the original reason, let's be honest. But in terms of how they justify it later on, there was a race that invented the warp drive and started flying around the Alpha Quadrant of the galaxy, because the galaxy split into 4 quarters: the Alpha Quadrant, Delta Quadrant, Beta Quadrant, Gamma Quadrant. Basically, this race noticed that there weren't any other intelligent species that walked on 2 legs and built tools and had spaceships and could fly around. And they thought that they were the best thing ever. They were like, wow, but flying around in spaceships is really cool. We should have more people like us who fly around and are intelligent and capable of, building all of these amazing things.
What?
So they went to any planet they could find that had, like, proto-life on it.
Later.
Like, basically primordial ooze. And they injected DNA-based programs into the DNA of all of these worlds.
So basically, they went like, we're lonely, make more people.
Yeah, so there's one code that gets set off when a creature meets a certain bar of intelligence that basically starts making them evolve into humanoids.
Funky.
There's a second code that's supposed to be activated by people who have advanced technology that turns into computer code when it's decompiled, essentially.
Yeah.
And because the DNA has degraded, they have to go to multiple planets and find different chunks of this one genetic code and then decompile it into a program. And that program basically is a message from these people who said, oh, we just wanted to have more people in the galaxy. Like a parent who wants children, we wanted to leave a permanent image on the galaxy because we know that we won't exist forever. And we hope that this message that you all come from the same place will lead to peace, essentially. And then the Klingons and Romulans get really pissed off because they thought that the secret code was going to be a fucking weapon.
Rather than a, hey, how are you, kids?
Yeah. So there is a lore reason that is in Star Trek The Next Generation that tells you why Romulans and Vulcans and Klingons and Cardassians all look similar to humans. It's because we all look similar to this proto-race that existed, billions of years ago. Any race who doesn't look humanoid but is intelligent is an intelligent species that evolved to intelligence despite, or like, without having that special code.
Making them arguably more special.
Yeah, because it means that they evolved to intelligence without something kicking in and making them intelligent.
Yep.
Because our DNA code, contains this genetic time bomb that basically makes a species more intelligent over time. There was a civilization of dinosaur people on Earth millions and millions and millions of years ago during the Cretaceous period. They knew that an asteroid was going to come and destroy the ecosystem on Earth and they wouldn't survive, so they traveled into space on big colony ships and because metal degrades and, you know, millions and millions of years later, there was absolutely no evidence of them existing on Earth.
Save for the more primitive forms.
So then, in Star Trek Voyager, when they're in the Delta Quadrant, they meet a species of humanoids that evolved from hadrosaurs. And they have this big Inquisition hearing type thing for this dinosaur alien man who believes that they traveled from a distant star system to where they live now. And, you know, he's right, because they come from Earth. Yeah, it's an interesting episode.
Meaning they technically have some claim to be able to live there, too.
Their technology was, like, way, way better than Earth's at the time, though. They had these enormous colony ships bigger than, like, Borg spheres, so they didn't really need it. I don't know, were spheres smaller, or were cubes bigger? Or were cubes smaller?
I thought Borgs had an obsession with cubes, not spheres.
I think the spheres are actually their scout ships, if I remember correctly. What is the largest Borg vessel?
The Lidl.
Okay, Borg cubes are their largest starships. They have larger constructs, but they're not mobile. A Borg cube is 3.2 kilometers on every scale, because they are a cube. So vertically, horizontally, in depth, they are 3.2 kilometers.
This thicker Tamiya is actually pretty good as a gap filler.
I'll fill your gap in a minute.
That's making your sprue count.
I'll sprue in you in a minute.
Really? You fucking dork.
I love the size comparison between ships. You look at Star Trek. The ships in Star Trek are not actually that big.
Yeah. By the way, it's really cool how you can judge the scale of one of these models and think about just how tiny of a thing you're painting in the end. Like, this is a house key. The fuck? Just a few centimeters tall, slightly less than an inch. Wow.
Good old painting.
I guess painting is your favorite part.
It is absolutely my favorite, probably followed by kit bashing.
Bash those kits together?
Yep. I'll be right back.
Mia extra thick. Got away. A buzz is everywhere. I hate it. Starting to get plastic getting caught in that. Ew. I don't want that. Pick up all the pieces together.
Orcus.
Bork?
Borcus.
Borkus Barkus?
Borcus, 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 Borcus.
Morcus Borkus. Ah, there we go. You know, part of me is pondering whether the nighttime really is the best option. I don't know.
Are you thinking of going back to the mornings?
I don't know. I can't make up my mind. It's just scheduling is such a pain in the ass. I want to stream regularly. I want to do it on a consistent basis. And there's so much else that I want to be able to do too. I want to be able to do everything, and it's kind of sad. Trying to struggle to get everything done. Like, it ain't easy.
Being cheesy. You're adorable.
Meh.
Time to unsolve my Rubik's Cube again.
There we go. Just 2 more of these boys to glue their little fanny packs on.
There's half. Or solved half the cube.
Thing about salad? What?
I solved half of my cube. Well, there we go. Solved. I still haven't loaded my game. Oh, here we go.
But I seem to be able to do things more consistently when I was doing it in the morning. Is what I noticed. So, but now that Jay has settled in, I'm probably going to go over with everyone in the house and see the best arrangement we can all come up with. Chances are I'm probably going to have it so that I take one of the days off in the morning if I do switch back to mornings. And then I will use that for an errand or things like that. Or just stay up a little bit longer. Or daytime only activities. What do you think about that, Fox?
Sounds cool.
I found that I can get the gaps filled on this by just putting in the stuff and then blowing gently on it, and it kind of drives it into the recesses along with the extra plastic it's carrying.
I'll drive into your recesses in a minute.
Then maybe you should. I think that sounds positively riveting. Or if I want to be cringe, that's totally poggers.
It's so ooh-woo, sir. That's ooh-wootiful.
Ooh-woo me, Foxer. Feel the cringe.
Kring.
Feel the
Feel
cring.
the kring.
The cring. But yeah, I had to go for the cheap-ass grocery trip because of that Amazon fuck-up. Like, sure, keep sending it to me if you're going to send it for free. But otherwise, I went and already bought a copy.
Oh, there's some things in League that I kind of just hate about the new item system.
Oh?
I hate that you can't build more than one of the same item.
I'm assuming this is still Ultra Kill we're talking about, right?
No, League.
Oh, League. League of Assholes!
I booted up a really quick practice match just so that it would load all of the League of Legends stuff into my RAM so that it won't take forever to load my TFT match. Because I don't want to be starting my TFT match on round 3.
What, it puts you in the middle of things?
If you don't load into the match first enough, or fast enough, it'll just fucking throw you in. Like,
That's poor coding, I think.
it's not poor coding, it's just that somebody with a potato computer doesn't hold up the match. I understand why it's like that.
And you could buy a hardware advantage.
How hard you're wearing in a minute.
Ooh. Add these grenades to his belt.
Denied.
Because let's be honest, having a frag is pretty handy. Also guessing that a group of Militarum that were funded by that were basically commanded by rogue traders or something like that would probably be better equipped. Wouldn't they?
Depends on how rich the planet is, because then ones that are, I don't know. Depends on the trader, depends on what you're comparing it to.
Comparing it to your rank and file guard.
Depends on which planet you're talking about.
Isn't Cadia supposed to be the average?
Cadia is one of the guard planets. Well, no, every planet in the Imperium has its own branch of the Astra Militarum.
They'll have their own planetary defense force, which is often pulled from for the Militarum of the Imperium.
No, every planet has Astra Militarum.
So everyone has a branch.
They draft from every planet.
Well, I know that. I didn't think that it would mean that they'd have a standing Astra. But they have regiments representing them. Right?
It is the responsibility of whoever is running the planet for the Imperium
To recruit,
train, equip, and send Astra Militarum.
Okay? So if it was one around, say, a Forge or Night World collection, you'd probably have fairly good equipment, I imagine?
Yes. I think that the exception is Forge Worlds, actually. I'm pretty sure Forge Worlds don't require that. I'm pretty sure Forge Worlds do all have their own Astra forces, but I'm pretty sure that they're there to guard the Forge World, not to
In other words,
draft it to other places.
Planetary Defense Force.
Yeah, but all planetary defense forces are part of the Astra Militarum.
They may as well be, yeah.
Play 40k Space Marine if you don't believe me.
You actually have to interact with any of the Astra in there?
Yes, they take you around in Valkyries. There's an entire on-rail shooter section where you're having to blast orcs from a Valkyrie as you're trying to get to this other location.
And basically you got like an Astra soldier or pilot flying it?
Yeah.
I think I lost it. Oh, there it is.
You lost it a long time ago, but I like you anyways. Oh, by the way, there's an arena for TFT that looks really similar to the graphics for the OG Dragon Quest game.
Really?
Yeah. It looks like an old NES RPG, but I'd say the colors are a little bit... Like, the colors and the styling are a little bit closer to Dragon Quest than Final Fantasy.
It's basically meant to be like a throwback map.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Getting these grenades on is a pain sometimes.
I still want a Dokupon Kingdom style game that's based on Monster Hunter, Dragon Quest.
What's Dokupon?
Dokupon Kingdom was basically a JRPG mixed with Mario Party. It was on like the PS2.
I've ever heard of it.
Imagine Mario Party if a single game took 20 hours and there were RPG mechanics. And the map was insanely huge, and you would have to play in multiple sessions.
Oh, like playing a 4X game, basically.
Yeah. And it was multiplayer. It was like full-on like multiplayer.
Now, I think for the grenades, it's going to be just better to put them where I want them, and then wick a little bit of the Tamiya under them. But really, I want them to make something like... Imagine if they made a Call of Duty style game, but it was basically you playing Astra or other of the infantry groups from 40K.
That'd be pretty dope.
Now, of course, you'd have to balance it out somehow, but you could just do that like I don't know, Halo is quote-unquote balanced between the species somewhat, right?
Depends on your outlook. I've seen people argue it both ways.
Hello, the boss of passion. Welcome on in. How you doing?
The boss
Thanks
of
for the follow.
Passione? Diavolo!
We are just finishing up the details on our little guys here. It's a pain in the ass to get the camera to focus, but oh, there it is. We got our grenades on now. Lovely little details. Yeah, now you can see it. There we go. But yeah, we're doing all this, and then we're probably going to also be basing them tonight as well.
What are you basing that assumption on?
Thing.
Stuff and things, you say?
Thingy mabob.
A thingy you're mabob in a minute.
Imperial Guard are very nice, boss, but they need new sculpts. They're getting a bit dated. Like, look at the poor Catachans. Oh my god.
What's wrong with the Catachans?
Oh, have you looked at... You're the one who also complained about the sculpts.
What's wrong with the Catachans?
Like, Sly Marbo, his original model. Oh god. The kill team models should be compatible with the tabletop. I think there's probably rules for them. I wouldn't know where to look. Do you have any comment on that, Foxer?
I'm pretty sure they are all compatible with tabletop, but I'm not sure where you'd find the rules about it because I don't really play. I just paint.
Yeah, Foxer, the one in the call with me, is basically the one I blame for all of this because they're the one who got me sucked in. And I've found that I really just enjoy the building and painting. I find it meditative. Even to the point where I have gotten several kits. I've ended up getting 2 boxes worth, I think, of Astra Militarum Start Collecting. I got a Skitarii group because I wanted to try that, and then they turned it into a Horde army, and I go like, fuck no, I'm not painting that much of that. And I decided to try some clan rats. They were pretty fun. And eventually ended up buying the Age of Sigmar Dominion box. I have a problem! Oh, and I want to buy an airbrush deck. I think I need to reset my avatar. It's doing a funky.
Your problem is that you don't have enough models, son.
Get more minis! As Miniac would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Necrons. Ah, the Metal Bone Daddies. I heard that you can actually do some conversions for the Ossiarch Bone Reapers into them. That would actually be pretty awesome. Add some nice variety, too. Did you get the Indomitus box? You can still find it at some places. Maybe at your local game store.
Your flugs.
There's one for sale over at my store, and I'm really thinking of picking it up. But I want to make sure I get the airbrush first. I really want to do that. Because an airbrush is going to make my life a lot easier. Once I learn how to use it, that is. If we're honest with ourselves here, T-Fox has basically been the person who's been cascading me into creative pursuits overall.
I'm a good influence.
You're a good influence on my hobbies, you're a bad influence on my wallet. Ah, the recruit box? Which one is that? Is that like one of those patrols or a start collecting type thing? Cheapest tutorial box. You can try linking it. I think I turned off muting of people with linking it because I don't quite know what you're speaking of. It's okay. Just link it from Games Workshop or something. Ah, my avatar is having a seizure. Yay. You know what the funny thing is, T? Doing like something like an Abaddon black or a Vallejo model color black on the grenade body, and then doing the spoon and the ring was actually pretty satisfying on these guys. And I can't explain why. Alright, that one's set up. You found the Amazon one? Alright, feel free to link it. Oh, holy shit, that's a block of text, ain't it? Oh, that one. It's the small boy version of the Indomitus box. Not a bad start. By the way, I highly recommend Vallejo over Citadel paints. Just a thought. That would be my recommendation, personally, at least. There are some really good Citadel paints, though, and they do have decent pigments. So I'm not saying avoid them entirely, but just, you're probably getting a better deal with Vallejo. Two more Necron warriors? Cool. You could see if they're available at your store, and just see if there's any for sale, like a few extras. Maybe buy them for like a few dollars. Or just get another box of Necrons. Honestly, if I was going to do Necrons, I would want to have a airbrush, because that gets half the work, that gets more than 75% of the work done right there. It makes it easy-ish. Troll Trader. Ah, okay. If you're looking for decent places to buy, you can also go to Miniature Mart as well if you're in the States. I'm afraid most of my references are only for the United States, so if you live elsewhere, I may not be able to really offer any suggestions. So, have you gotten to the stage where you're painting anything yet? Or are you still building? Ah, if you're looking for good information on painting and have never done it before, there is an excellent tutorial that was done by Brent of Goovertown Hobbies. Can't recommend the guy enough. Complete fucking nerd, but amazing. Then again, you're probably a nerd if you're... Let me see if I can get that. Have you actually looked at some of the YouTube videos for painting? Ah. Well, I think on my YouTube channel I have some playlists of from other creators that actually have some really good things with them. So that would be one way to find it. I've bookmarked some good ones. Let's see here, but for the absolute beginner and everything else, let me go ahead and get that. It is a very good one. Fine. Lists. I have too many. I'm a potato. Aha! here we go. There's that video. I love this video for it. So, here is a very good beginner video for that. For fundamentals of painting. From start to finish. It doesn't go into more advanced topics, but it is an excellent place to start. So, if you're looking for more information on how to paint and things like that, it gives you a great start. You have, first of all, you're going to want to have your base paintings, your base painting of your base coat. Get 2 thin coats typically. Then your paints. Like anyone will tell you, it's extremely important to do so. And you may want to consider a wet palette. You can make one at home using parchment and a tray with a little bit of a wet paper towel underneath it. There's guides on that online. And or you could pick one up from, say, a hobby store and just look for one that's used for normal painting. But a wet palette will be very good, and it means you're going to have your paint stay wet and not just dry up on a palette, like, say, your typical artist palette. Now, most acrylic paints that you're going to deal with are going to be fairly safe. I wouldn't advise eating it or anything like that. That's probably goes without saying. Okay. Keep in mind you have things like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and other places that you can go to as well that often have some art supplies that you may be able to use. Even though I don't really care for Hobby Lobby's business practices, personally, they do carry things like some Vallejo paints, like the model paint range. I believe they even have cheap airbrushes. But, take a look at different hobby stores in your area. Some of them do have things that can be useful for you, even if they don't always. And if you're not happy with the paint job, you can always strip it. And start again. There's no shame in that. None whatsoever. It's getting away. Come on, stay in place, you piece of shit! Oh, God, it's driving me nuts. Alright, I think I've got it where I want it. We're gonna hold that in place. We're gonna take our Tamiya and just wick it right in there. Now, I highly recommend plastic glue over super glue for assembling your minis. Now, there's really technically no wrong way of going about. Oh, holy shit! Thanks, hon. That's much appreciated. Thank you ever so much for the sub. Wow, that surprised me. Thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Let's see here. Alright. Oh, by the way, when you do finish painting, or finish up the models, you're welcome to go ahead and post photos of it in our Discord, in the hobby section. We have something specifically for that, and if you have questions about the hobby, I can also point you to some other things like, say, some Warhammer Discords. And they have all sorts of people who are knowledgeable, from everything from sculpting with green stuff, Milliput. There's just so many resources out there, and overall, I've found that the community around modeling has been a very positive one. Let's see. 2 more to just put these on, or should I just leave it? Man. Do I want to add something to these 2? Let's leave some without something attached. just for a little bit of variety. All right, so let those solidify just a bit. We also have this guy, which I finished a while back. We're going to have to prime him up and paint him. Now, where are my bases? Excellent. Haha. Okay, come on. Come on. Get out of these, you little tiny discs. Alright. What on earth is this music? It is peculiar. Cat hair, it's everywhere. I can't escape it. Alright. Get our cyanoacrylate. Fair enough. Yeah, I do like to keep that way. However, since you are looking for more information about that, I will go ahead and see if I can direct you to an appropriate Discord that has pretty much anything you could want regarding Warhammer. Once I get time to do so, that is. Yep. Hey, here's the thing. I'm just going to encourage people to go into that. Alright, he's now standing! Yay! And thank you for the follow, Knight PHP. How you doing? Welcome on in. Having our modeling adventures here. Thank you for joining. Let me go ahead and actually link that, because if people are interested in Warhammer, I do know some very good Discords for it. Let's see. Alright, where is it? Where's it? They always put their things in a weird place trying to set this up. Alright, so this is for a generic Warhammer Discord. Right here. Hello, Sal. That's for a generic Warhammer one. And then the 40k specific one will be here. So, those Discords, you'll find all sorts of people who'll be able to help you as you go through the hobby. Okay?
I'm sorry, Sal. I had to taste the salad.
Oh, you dork.
Take a lick.
Oh, no.
Tasty salad.
Dragon abuse. Oh, you're already in the first one. Cool. Not a bad start then. Just don't be afraid to ask any questions. People will be more than happy to go ahead and help. And we'll be happy to help if we can while we're live here. Yes, T?
Do you like Dragon Ball?
I haven't really watched much of it, but some of the things I've heard of it do amuse me.
Oh, that's good, because I'm going to be dragging these balls up your face later.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright, let's get our base set. Terrible jokes. There we go. Everything's in place. That one is set. I'll put them apart. Rest. Move on to our next basing. There we go. Okay. Miss anything? Right done. Okay. Something like that. We're all strange.
You're a strange animal. I legally can't sing any more than that.
What even is that?
It's Strange Animal by Lawrence Gowan, formerly of Sting.
Beetle lunchbox as a joke carrying. Okay. Hey, however you get things from point A to point B.
I want to show up to like Warhammer night carrying my army in one of those 50-piece McNuggets boxes.
Thanks, I hate it.
See how people like it.
They probably have the same reaction I do.
It's just bringing in a KFC bucket.
Maybe eventually I'll start trying to do basing techniques and whatnot.
Do you know why they had to rework the Beastmen in Warhammer Total War?
Because they sucked?
Because they were bad. I'll see myself out. I'll be right back.
Help! I'm being vandalized by puns. Alright, so how is this guy gonna stand on this? Well, I guess that's pretty clutch as close to anything as it's gonna be. Put him down slightly off center, since he is leaning. He went AFK, solid. Salad days. Ah! Come on, stick. Stick, damn you. Apply just a little bit more glue there. My brain's already being destroyed by the puns. You can't save me. Ah! The pans! The pans! I kind of wish I had some CA glue accelerator.
Okay, I'm back. Did that joke?
Where's Mozart then?
Did that joke I made when I left really get your goat?
You suck. So I realized that I was stupid when I tried to set up my first Imperial Guard, the ones that had some leaning ones. So I set it off-center, so it changed the center of gravity to be a little bit more supportive of the model. Which I feel is probably going to be a better option.
Lorgans,
Huh?
why
What?
did the pony drink tea? He was a little horse.
Hey T, I got something for you. See? See the camera?
What? Yeah? Now I don't see the camera because my TFT match just popped up, but I assume you gave me the middle finger.
Yes, I did!
Hun. Hun, 2 rocks sat at the top of a hill. One of them refused to roll down, but the second one did roll down because he was a little bolder. Discord cut that off and I only heard just like this muffled screaming.
That's accurate. Probably, Sal. Better get used to the idea. And how are you doing, sir? Welcome on in. We doing the gluing. Oh, just imagine someone bringing in a bunch of Tyranids and then doing it in a KFC bucket. And all have them painted like fucking chickens. With extra bits.
With extra bits, you mean like a shark?
Ooh woo.
Oh, come on. Don't be that ooh-woo right now.
Hi, Lorgans. You're both cute.
Yes, I agree.
Really,
Lorgans
sir?
are both cute.
How is it going to do that?
Sure, that they've been doing that for a while.
How's that?
There's a problem with the Twitch API that can basically let people dox you if you visit their Twitch channel.
Yeah, but right-click doesn't visit the Twitch channel. I always right-click ban.
What I mean is, just make sure you don't visit their channels.
That makes no sense.
Cert, it's through a hacked Twitch panel. You know how you can have those like little panel like extensions underneath your stream? Like Lorgans has the subs leaderboard down there. There's one of those that can be used to dox people who visit your channel.
And yet it hasn't gotten
Twitch needs to
banned.
fix that immediately. Yeah, Twitch needs to fix that immediately.
Did you report it?
No, but I've heard about it. It's like blowing up of like people are like, what the fuck, Twitch?
How you doing, Lorgans?
I am doing well.
Good.
It's quite a deep subject.
Sort's a cutie.
Well, we already know that. That's established.
Been established multiple times.
Yeah, super glue I like for basing more than plastic glue. I tried plastic glue on the Skaven, and not again. Well, thanks for the warning either way, sir. It is appreciated.
Let's see if I can win the team fighting tactics.
Where's the guy? Center MS. I'm just gonna off-center him just a little bit. KFC moment. Pyramid chicken.
Bruh moment.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Bruh moment.
Bruh. Bruh.
Don't worry, no one else has a fucking clue what they're doing here either. You're in good company. Well, look at it this way. You could, depending on how many points each of the sides of your starter box is, how many points it is, you could technically go ahead and either play Kill Team with them, or you could attempt to play a small 500-point game of Warhammer and see how you like how each faction plays. Just by filling in the rest of the units just with a little box or something extra. And then sell the ones you don't want. There's usually someone willing to buy products you're not interested in using. Be it bits or other things.
You know, selling your bits is actually illegal someplace.
We're not talking about those bits, T. Bad. No cookie.
Are you sure?
Yes, no cookie.
What if I bat my eyes like this?
No.
What if I give you the sad puppy fox eyes?
No. No. Yeah, Space Marines are kind of like white bread. At least Ultramarines are. Actually, no, they're Smurfs. Never mind.
Space Marines.
Yeah, the Orcs always want to go on a big crumpin' against the frickin' Space Marines.
They want to be crumping? Did you just say?
It's a bad joke. I saw it in a forum with an Orc player saying that.
The fuck? Yeah, orcs are known for their crumping.
It probably means something entirely different in the dictionary, but I don't care.
Crumping is a type of dance.
Then again, are Orcs known for speaking Low Gothic well?
Orcs highly known for their crumping skills. Don't worry, Bart. I'll crump with you. Marge Simpson crumping was like one of the worst things I've ever seen on The Simpsons.
Dancing?
Yeah, she was crumping. Like a millennial.
He is good. He is
Am
tasty.
I, though?
Well, no, you're naughty.
Oh.
This pose is always a pain to get glued down. Hello, welcome on in. How you doing? Not much. We're just basing our Astra Militarum today. Or Imperial Guard, as they're supposed to be called. Games Workshop just wanted a more copyrightable name. Eventually. I have to enforce the rules evenly across the board. Can't make exceptions. Like, I'm slightly okay with it here in the Twitch channel. Like, honestly, it's with kids, it's their parents' responsibility what they let their kids watch, honestly. And let's be honest, I'm probably mild compared to some things you see on television these days. Swearing, dirty jokes, that kind of stuff. Are they legit? What do you mean? You mean actual plastic polystyrene from Games Workshop? Yeah, these are legit. Not sure what you mean. Never heard of black market miniatures. Honestly, yep, that's what I'm doing. I use plastic glue for gluing most of them together, but I prefer to use super glue on the base. Yeah, of course. That or the back of the hobby knife. There we go. No, not right now. I've just been assembling the boxes I have so I can go in through and paint them all. I kind of want to pick up an airbrush soon, because that'll speed up a lot of the process with priming. Not to mention I don't have to rely on good weather for rattle can prime at that point. Airbrushes are pretty cool, though. A link. thank you for the follow, Hilt. Much appreciated. There we go. That should give it a nice little center of gravity by offsetting it a bit. Stable. Yeah, that's what I've been told. I'm looking to get an air compressor that's under 50 decibels, for one. And also, I'm looking at either a Badger Patriot 105, or maybe a Harder and Steenbeck, I'm not sure. But I'm expecting to pay at least a minimum of $300 for the kit. And all the requisite supplies. Considering I bought the Dominion box J4F, I'm not sure what you mean. Could you clarify? No, I don't consider this a major source of income. That's what you're saying. I stream because I enjoy doing so. If someone happens to subscribe, so be it. Go like, hey, that's pretty cool. Probably use it to get some more goodies for the stream. But yeah, I prefer to look at it the idea that it's good to have something that I can rely on consistently rather than trying to rely on stream income. Because, honestly, I don't want it to be a job. I want it to have fun. And once something becomes a job, well, then it's not really truly a hobby, even if you enjoy it anymore. Alright, gotta let those solidify up. Put away this extra disc. Oh, my legs! Fuck, that's stiff. Oh. Where I just swept up the cat hair this morning. Ah! You could. Whatever seems fun to paint, to be honest, Hilt. I'm finding that the one that I'm interested in playing currently is Astra Militarum, but I also have some other models that I've collected because I just wanted to paint them. Oh, you're talking to Boss. Never mind. Having a moment. That. Oh, okay. Yeah, Astra for me. I did pick up a box of Skitarii because those were pretty fun. And I'm looking at painting some of the Age of Sigmar models. The Dominion box technically has enough of both the Orcs and the Stormcast, so I'd technically be able to play those if I painted them up. I think there's like 1,000 points of each or close to it. Yeah, it is. And the rulebook is pretty nice. Ooh, whoa, that's a lot of plastic. It was heavier than I thought it was going to be. But it's all push fit, which means assembling it's probably going to be fairly easy. And if I'm painting en masse, I'm definitely going to want the airbrush. Like our super glue is just about solidified on some of these, so that's good. Hello, Kibaru. How are you doing, hon? We have those minis pretty much assembled. So what I'm going to have to do later is prime those up, and I'm going to add them to my plate of minis to paint. Speaking of which, here's what I've got that I have on my case anyway. It's literally a fucking plate. All of them are primed and ready to go. Except I'm not sure if this guy is primed. Can't tell. Is he primed? Yes, it looks like he is. Yeah, I have things like a bunch of Skaven on this to do. I have a nice metal Psyker to paint. I think I missed some spots with the rattle can prime, though. So I might hit it again, considering it seems like there's some glittering metal coming through. But yeah. I just put the things I'm ready to paint on this, and then when I'm in a painting mood, I just grab some off the plate. Like if it's a bunch of the Skaven, I might grab 4 of them. If it's a more complex model, like say this dude, I might go ahead and just pull one of them off and just focus on it entirely. Spend about 3 to 4 hours on it. Soon that's going to be 10 more of these units. Okay. See here. What do I want to do now? So I've got that's what I set out to do with those done. Like they're solidifying up. So I'm gonna set those on a plate so I can take them over for a few hours. Rub them. Alright, have fun. Go alakablam at people. All these guys are going to need to get scrubbed with the soap. Make sure to wash off any sort of release agents from the molds. And then dry them off and prime.
I'll prime you in a minute.
I keep saying that, but it kind of doesn't have a meaning at this point.
I know, I'm just giving you a vague threat.
You're being a butt, what you're doing. You know what? Who knows? Maybe I'm feeling like assembling more shit, so maybe I'll open up the Dominion box. Fuck it.
Delicious cold. By the way, Kibaru is cute.